Alright, part 2 of our sushi. The ingredients, making the ingredients for it. I have some lobster tails here that I got a good deal on. They were frozen, and so I kept them frozen. They've been in my freezer, and it's time to use them up before they go completely bad. So, how I like to clean lobster. Pair of scissors. Go right down it like that. Crack it open. Also, by cutting it open like that, you're able to clean the mud vein out of it easily. Making sure you have cold water. Just give that a quick rinse. You're going to take this, just like that, and pull it out of there. Now, when I'm cooking just lobster tails and I want to broil them, I'll go just like this and throw it on top of a broiling pan and broil it. When the shell turns orange, you know it's done. Perfect way to cook lobster. But we're not doing that today, so I'm going to go ahead and fully remove it from the shell. And now we have a nice lobster tail. I'm going to get this other one done and be back. I almost forgot, before you start on that, get your rice cooker all rinsed out, cleaned up if you just made sushi rice with it, like I happen to have done. We're going to add a stick of butter. And I'm going to add just a pinch of some smoked salt to that. Maybe, let's do 2 pinches. That looks better. Turn that on. Guess we gotta put the lid on it. There's not enough weight on it. Put the lid on it. Turn that on high for just a minute so it can get hot, and then we'll turn it down and melt that butter. Alright, now that we got our lobster tails out of the shell, yeah, I'm going to bust out my special knife for this. My best friend got me this knife, and I use it when I do Asian style cooking. I absolutely love this knife. It's so awesome. Alright, so we are going to slice these in half, like so. Then, I like to take a skewer and go right down through the middle of it. This is going to help keep it from curling up. So go over halfway. Good pair of kitchen scissors. Cut that off. Now you got your pointy end to do it again. And the reason I'm cutting them off is because I'm going to be cooking them in the rice cooker and the full sticks won't fit. So there's one. Butter is melting nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put that on warm. Again, all the way to the end. Cut it off. And then we've got one for the other one. Those are ready to go. We'll throw that piece in there too. Nothing goes to waste. I think my little light died. we go. One way I like to clean up as I go is to just rinse and reuse dishes. Alright, butter's nice and melted. Almost melted, but we're going to go ahead and get these started. Just throw them in there. And we're going to poach them in that smoky, salty butter. I don't remember how long this takes. I think it was about 15-20 minutes. But now that we've got those in there and butter's cooling down, we're going to go ahead and put it back on high until it comes back to a simmer. While that's going, we're going to steam up some spinach. And we're going to steam it the proper way. Add just a little bit of water to the bottom of your pan. Steamer rack. That should be just about enough. This is going to decrease by quite a bit, so you'll have about 1/3 to 1/4 this much. So that looks pretty good. We're going to throw a lid on that and put it on the burner on high and steam it for about 5 minutes. Then I have some cucumber that I just ever so lightly grazed with the peeler so that it takes the chewiness, hard peel off from it, but still leaves some of the flavor, because we want that flavor because it's going to help add freshness to it. And I don't want the seeds, and I want these in nice thinnish strips. So I'll do this until I get to the seeds. Then I'll go to the other side, doing the same thing. You can scoop the seeds out with a spoon if you want, but I'm going to go just like that. Get rid of the rest of those seeds. And continue slicing it nice and thin. And those aren't really seeds, those are just what's left over of the little pockets that they come in. I'm going to take these, put them in a container with the lid, some seasoned rice vinegar, just till they're covered. Give those a nice mix around and let those pickle for a little bit. We have our steamed spinach. Don't let it sit in here for too long or it'll stick. Be careful, it's really hot. I recommend using tongs for this, but if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, right? Alright, we're just going to let that sit there and we're going to let that cool off for a minute. And then once it cools down, we're going to strain all that water out of it because you don't want your sushi watery. You want to squeeze as much water out of it as you can. I'm going to be making a sauce to go on top of these. I'm going to start out with some mayonnaise. I wish I could find some Japanese mayo, but I can't seem to find any in town. Just a little bit of some garlic paste. A little bit of some unseasoned rice vinegar. Not too much because we don't want it super runny. That should be about good. Just a dab of some soy sauce. I can't remember what kind of chili powder this is, but it's not regular chili powder. It's a spicier chili powder, more of like an Asian chili. And we're just gonna, it don't take very much of this to give it a good kick. So that's probably about good. A little smoked paprika, help give it some color and some smoky flavor. And then just a little bit of Uncle Roger's favorite white powder. This is MSG, by the way. If you guys don't know who Uncle Roger is, he's a comedian slash food critic type person. He makes really funny videos. They crack me up. And he reviews cooking videos and stuff. And honestly, I would be absolutely honored if he reviewed one of my videos. He calls everybody nephew until he reviews their videos, and then they may or may not earn the Uncle Roger uncle title. So I'm hoping that maybe one day Uncle Roger will review one of my videos and he will give me the Uncle Roger uncle title so I can truly be Uncle Mike's cast iron cooking. Give that a taste. A little more chili. Not much. Just needs a little bit more of a kick to it. A little bit more vinegar. Garlic I nailed. The garlic was perfect. Just a little more soy. Oh, I knew there was something else I wanted to add to this. That's what it's missing. And just the smallest amount of some fish sauce. A little bit goes a long ways. That might almost be too much. And I'll give you guys fair warning right now. Do not smell the fish sauce. Whatever you do, just don't smell it. If you smell it, you probably won't use it. That's looking about the consistency we want to. Not too thick, not too thin. Give that another taste. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, that's it right there. And we are good. Sauce is made. Lobster's poaching nicely. Starting to firm up. I just gave them a flip. These are almost done. Just a few more minutes. Spinach has cooled down enough to be able to handle it. I like just put it in one palm like that. Yeah, that will absolutely ruin your sushi. You can use cheesecloth for this if you want, if it's easier to strain it out for you. But that looks way better. Look how much water was in that. Alright, there we go. Spinach is ready. Also, I'm going to add just a little bit of carrot to this. And same thing, I don't want it super thick. It's just going to add just a little bit more freshness to it. A little bit of crispiness to it. But it won't be bitter like the skin of the cucumber tends to be. So I'm going to keep slicing this as thin as I can. And that'll be another one of our ingredients. Lobsters are done. Nice and firm. Pull the sticks while they're hot because it tends to be easier to get them off the sticks. If you let them cool, they tend to stick. No pun intended. Woo! That one's falling apart. Oh, man, I've never had them fall apart like that before on me. Alright, there we go. We're just going to let that cool a little bit. And we are almost ready to start making some sushi. Do not just throw this butter away. I will take this. I'll let it cool. I'll put it in a container. I'll take that, I'll put it in a container and I'll let it cool. And I'll use it for cooking. You'd be amazing what this tastes like on top of some steak. Cook your steak up right at the end, throw that on top of it. Oh man, or on some fish or anything like that. So don't throw it away. Very, very useful. Nothing wrong with it. All you really did was infuse the lobster flavor into it with the salt and everything. And yeah, good stuff. This is my sushi mat. My older kids' grandma got this for me over 20 years ago because she thought it was pretty. She didn't know what it was at the time. I didn't know what it was at the time. But I've hung on to it just because I thought it was cool and found out that it's for rolling sushi. So it's a sushi mat. I thought that was pretty cool once I found out. And then I started using it and learning how to make sushi. So pretty. Isn't that neat? These are just little pieces of little strips of bamboo sewn together so that they roll up. Pretty cool. And you'll see if you ever watch any other sushi videos and stuff, a lot of times you'll see them wrap this in saran wrap. I've tried that. It don't work for me. So what I do instead is I use a piece of parchment paper. Alright, so let's get this rolling. There's two ways that you can do this. This is some toasted sushi nori. also known as seaweed. And since I like to make smaller rolls, 1 sheet of nori is just a little much for me. They make the rolls bigger than what I like to eat. Boy, am I making myself some dishes to do tonight. So, I want about 3/4 of this. Now, you can have your nori on the outside with the rice inside of it, or you can have the nori on the inside with the rice on the outside of it. I like the rice on the outside of it. So I will show you how I do that the easy way. I lost my spatula. I found my spatula. So, I want the rice on the outside, so I'm going to put this on the bottom half back down here. Make sure I have this folded first so I know where halfway is. Trust me, it comes in handy. Okay, nori back on there. That right up to there. And take our rice, and it helps to have some water handy. Get your hand wet, otherwise the rice will stick to it. And they make a spatula for doing this. I had one. I don't know what happened to it. It actually came with the rice cooker when I got it. But I've had that rice cooker for a really, really, really long time. So now we're just going to press, trying to keep everything straight, our sushi rice, keeping our hand wet. Get it kind of thin and flattened out across our nori. So I don't bore you, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll come back with it finished. Okay, we got a nice, fairly even layer across there. Everything's looking good. So now if I started rolling this from this way, if I wanted the nori on the outside, I would leave some nori not covered with rice. But I want the rice on the outside. But if I roll this right now, I'm going to have the nori on the outside. So, there we go. Rice on the outside, nori on the inside. Now, I'm going to take some extra rice up here at the top of this. That way, I have some rice to overlap, help it stick together, and help it make it look a little prettier. So you don't see the nori sticking out. And see what happens when you forget to get your hand wet. Okay. I wish I would have gotten it a little bit straighter, but I might be able to fudge it a little. There we go. Sticky, sticky. That's a good thing. Start off by throwing some lobster in here. Try and set it accordingly so you can kind of keep it even all the way across. That's about right for that. Then I'm going to come in with some of the spinach. Try and get it evened out. And some of this carrot. Looks pretty good. We're going to take some of our rice vinegar pickled cucumbers. Shake some of that rice vinegar off there so they're not so wet. Go on there with some of that. Nice thin one over here. All right, that looks about like as thick as we're gonna want to get it. Now we're gonna take this, hold all that together, and bring it right around like so. I got hold of the parchment paper here. I'm just gonna roll that, making sure I don't run out of parchment paper. And there it is. So now, I'll work this down to one end. I'm going to roll it up nice and tight. And give that just a minute while I clean up my work area. I got some avocado here. And again, I'm going to try and slice it nice and thin. There we go. All right. Now that should all come out pretty easily. Dry that off. With your parchment paper, that knife don't work very good for that. Blade a little wet. That one's working much better. Let's see if I can do this. So some avocado on top. That looks pretty good. And just sorry, I keep bumping the camera. Hope I'm not making you seasick. Hey. Avocado's not staying very well. Well, so much for the presentation. Struggling. All right. Alright, I transferred the sauce into a little squirt bottle, which wasn't easy. But I thought it would be a lot easier to do this, so it was worth it. All right. Give you guys a cross section of what one of these look like. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I can't wait to try this. In fact, let's just try this. Hello. Bottoms up. That's good. That was really good. Oh my goodness. I've been craving some sushi. So this combination isn't something that I've seen anybody do or anything. I didn't follow anybody else's recipe. I just kind of come up with the ingredients in my head. The sauce I made all out of my head. And holy cow, did it turn out amazing. I need a haircut really bad. Oh man, yeah. I am going to mail these. That's so good. So good. Highly recommend it. Change it up a little bit if you want. Make it your own. But, oh man, that was really good. But there's a how-to on how to make sushi. Add your own ingredients. Just make it how you want it. Make it your way. This is what I had in mind. This is what I wanted to try. And, oh, I'm so glad I did. This was delicious. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you who are liking, following, subscribe, all that stuff. You guys mean the world to me. You're the reason that I'm doing this, because I want to teach you, show you guys how to do stuff like this. It's taken me a long time to learn. I've watched hundreds of videos, cooking videos and everything on how to do this stuff. And yeah, it's been a learning experience, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. And I hope you're happy that I'm sharing it with you guys. Having said that, Uncle Roger, if you're watching, give me a review. Tell me what you think. Give me an uncle title if you want. I'm going to do some stir fry next. And maybe try some Korean spring rolls. Alrighty. Yeah, down the hatch, guys. Y'all go get your grub on.